Did you know that as of May 1st, a fuel that is legally prohibited in over 23 million American boats, motorcycles, and small engines is now rolling out nationwide as the cheaper option at your local pump? It's called Unleaded 88, or E15. While the EPA says it's safe for most modern cars, for a specific group of legendary American trucks and engines, this fuel acts less like a power source and more like a chemical solvent. Today, we're exposing the 88 Octane Trap and the 7 engines most at risk. Are you accidentally poisoning your fuel system to save 20 cents a gallon? If you've pulled up to a gas station recently in any of the 33 states currently expanding E15, you've seen the new yellow label. It's usually marked as Unleaded 88 or Regular 88. To the average driver, that number 88 looks like a minor upgrade from the standard 87 octane. You see a lower price, typically 10 to 30 cents cheaper, and a slightly higher octane rating. It looks like a win-win. But that number is a distraction from the chemical reality of what's inside the hose. Standard regular gas in the US is E10, meaning it contains 10% ethanol. The 88 stuff is E15, a 15% ethanol blend. On paper, a 5% jump sounds negligible. In reality, it's the threshold where the chemistry of your fuel system changes entirely. On March 25, 2026, the EPA issued a nationwide emergency waiver allowing this 15% blend to be sold year-round, effectively bypassing the summer volatility rules that usually keep it off the market. They cited domestic fuel supply stability and high crude prices, but they didn't send a warning to your garage. Here is the problem: ethanol is hygroscopic. That's a technical way of saying it's a magnet for water. It pulls moisture straight out of the humidity in the air. In a modern, sealed fuel system, your car can handle a little bit of that. But in older systems or engines that sit for more than a week, that water-ethanol mix settles at the bottom of your tank in a process called phase separation. When you turn the key, your fuel pump isn't sucking up 88-octane gasoline, it's sucking up a corrosive sludge of water and alcohol. Furthermore, ethanol is a powerful solvent. It eats through the natural rubber, zinc, and certain plastics that were the literal backbone of American engine manufacturing for decades. If your truck was built before the mid-90s, your fuel lines weren't designed for this. They were designed to be durable against gasoline, not high-concentration alcohol. The EPA's own misfueling mitigation rule is very clear. E15 is prohibited for all motorcycles, all boats, all lawnmowers, and every heavy-duty gasoline truck on the road. Yet, the nozzle is exactly the same size. The pump won't stop you. Only your knowledge of what's in your driveway will. Now, let's get into the specifics. These are the engines sitting in American driveways, sheds, and docks that are most susceptible to a mechanical cardiac arrest from Unleaded 88. We've ranked these based on repair costs and how easily a single bad fill-up can happen. 7. The shed dwellers, small engines, Briggs & Stratton, Kohler, Honda. This is where most people get trapped. You're at the pump, you fill your modern truck with 88 octane to save a few bucks, and then you fill your 5-gallon red plastic gas can with the same nozzle. That gas goes into your lawnmower, pressure washer, or emergency generator. Small engines are almost exclusively air-cooled and use simple carburetors. Ethanol burns hotter than pure gasoline. In a small air-cooled environment, that extra heat leads to a lean run condition, which can literally melt a hole through a piston or warp a valve. Briggs & Stratton and Kohler have both issued formal warnings. E15 can cause permanent, irreversible damage that is not covered by warranty. If your generator doesn't start during a hurricane this fall, it's likely because the 88 octane you bought in May ate the rubber needle seat in the carburetor. 6. The weekend killers, marine outboards. If you own a boat, the 88 octane pump is your enemy. Most boat engines, whether it's a massive Mercury Viridoo or a small Yamaha Kicker, are explicitly prohibited from using E15 by federal law. The issue here isn't just the heat, it's the environment. Boats live in high-moisture areas. Because ethanol is a dry alcohol that loves water, it will pull moisture from the lake or ocean air into your fuel tank. Once that water content hits a certain percentage, phase separation occurs. The water and ethanol mix becomes a heavy glop that sinks to the bottom of the tank, right where the fuel pickup is. You aren't just losing power, you're slugging your engine with a corrosive cocktail that will corrode fuel rails and injectors in weeks, not years. 5. Motorcycles, specifically air-cooled V-twins. The American Motorcyclist Association, AMA, has been one of the loudest voices against E15.
Why?
Because most motorcycles on the road today, especially the iconic air-cooled cruisers from Harley-Davidson or Indian, have no radiator to dump excess heat. Running E15 in an engine designed for E10 or less can cause the engine to run significantly hotter, leading to pre-ignition or pinging. Over time, this destroys spark plugs and damages cylinder walls. Plus, on many older bikes, the fuel lines are exposed to the elements. Ethanol makes that rubber brittle, leading to cracks and, in the worst-case scenario, a fuel fire right between your legs. 4. The Survivor Classic, 1970s, 1980s square bodies and OBS trucks. We love the Chevy C10, the square body, and the bullnose Fords. These trucks were built with soft fuel system. In the 70s and 80s, manufacturers used natural rubber hoses, cork gaskets, and fiberglass or untreated steel fuel tanks. Ethanol acts as a solvent on these materials. It will literally dissolve the resin in older fiberglass tanks, found in some custom builds, and turn your rubber fuel lines into a mush that clogs your fuel filter. If you've ever wondered why your classic truck has a mysterious stumble or won't hold an idle after sitting for a month, check your fuel lines. If they feel soft or gummy, the 88 Octane has already started the clock on a total system failure. 3. The 1994 to 2001 Dodge Ram, the Magnum engine. Ranking at number 3 is the second-generation Dodge Ram. These trucks, powered by the 3.9 LV6, 5.2 LV8, and 5.9 LV8 Magnum engines, are the ultimate trap vehicle. Why? Because they look and feel modern. They have fuel injection, they have digital odometers, and they are still everywhere on American job sites. Owners often assume that because it's modern fuel injection, it can handle modern fuel. That is a mistake. The fuel systems in these Rams were engineered in the early 90s, a time when E10 was the absolute ceiling for testing. The rubber seals in the fuel rails and the specific polymers used in the fuel pump assemblies are not rated for the higher solvent concentrations of E15. Using unleaded 88 in a 1998 Ram 1500 is essentially stress testing your fuel pressure regulator until it fails. If you start smelling raw gas under the hood of your second-gen Ram this summer, the cheap gas is likely the culprit. 2. 1988 to 2000 GMC/K and early Silverado, the Vortec era. At number 2, we have the legendary GM trucks. This includes the C1500, K1500, and the very first generation of the Silverado and Sierra, 1999 to 2000. These trucks utilized the 5.7L, 350, Vortec and early 4.8L/5.3L LS-based engines. The primary vulnerability here is the spider fuel injector system found in the 5.7L Vortec. These are high-precision, central fuel injection units with plastic legs that deliver fuel to the cylinders. Ethanol is a powerful detergent. If your truck has been running E10 for 20 years, there is a layer of varnish and deposits inside your tank. When you drop E15 in, that extra 5% alcohol can act as a deep cleaner, stripping those deposits off the tank walls and sending them straight into the spider injectors. The result is a clogged system, a massive misfire, and a repair bill that can easily exceed $1,000. 1. Pre-2001 Ford F-Series, the Windsor and early modular. The number 1 truck most at risk is the pre-2001 Ford F-Series. This covers the most numerous workhorses in America, from the iconic 4.9L inline, 6 and the 5.8L Windsor to the early 2-valve 4.6L and 5.4L Tritons. Ford's own documentation is very specific. 2001 is the hard line. Anything older is federally prohibited from using E15. The reason? Ford utilized specific zinc dichromatic coatings and nitrile rubber components in their fuel systems during the 90s that are known to degrade when exposed to higher ethanol concentration. These trucks are often the most reliable things people own, the truck that always starts. But the 88 Octane Trap attacks the one part of a Ford truck that is already a known weak point: the fuel pressure regulator and the fuel pump impellers. Ford truck enthusiast forums are already seeing a spike in mysterious fuel pump failures in states where E15 has been pushed aggressively. Don't trade the unbreakable reputation of your F-150 for a 20-cent per gallon discount. The warranty trap and real-world math. Before you think this only applies to old trucks, there is a hidden catch for owners of newer vehicles, too. Many manufacturers of trucks built between 2001 and 2012 allow E15, but they don't recommend it. If you check your owner's manual, you'll likely see E15 listed as the maximum allowable limit. Here is the warranty trap. If you experience a fuel system failure, clogged injectors, a failed pump, or corroded seals, and the dealership pulls a fuel sample that shows an ethanol content higher than what the manual specifies, they can, and often will, deny your warranty claim. And then there's the math. E15 contains about 3.5% less energy than pure gasoline. Even compared to E10, you are looking at a 1.5% to 2% drop in fuel economy. In a high MPG hybrid, that's pennies, ANA 12 miles per gallon heavy-duty truck, that loss in range often negates the savings at the pump. You aren't actually saving money, you're just paying less to travel a shorter distance, all while putting your hardware at risk. How to protect your fleet. The rollout of year-round E15 doesn't mean you have to park your Classic, but it does mean you have to change your maintenance habits. If you own any of the at-risk engines we just discussed, here is your survival guide. The yellow label rule. This is the most important step. Don't look at the price, and don't look at the octane number. Look for the yellow E15 warning label. If the pump says 88 and has that yellow sticker, keep the nozzle away from your boat, your bike, and your pre-2001 truck. Upgrade to Viton. If you are restoring an older truck or motorcycle, stop using standard black rubber fuel lines. Modern Viton, FKM, or Teflon-lined hoses are chemically resistant to high ethanol concentration. It's a slightly higher upfront cost that prevents a fuel fire or a gummed-up carburetor down the road. The stabilizer habit. If your equipment sits for more than 2 weeks, like a lawnmower or a classic Ford, use a fuel stabilizer specifically formulated for ethanol. Products like Stay-BIL 360 Protection or Sea-Foam help prevent the water absorption process and keep the fuel fresh longer. Find the pure gas. For marine engines and high-value classics, the best defense is a zero-tolerance policy. Websites like pure-gas.org or specialized apps can help you find stations in the U.S. that still sell E0, ethanol-free, gasoline. It's more expensive, but it's cheaper than a $3,000 engine rebuild. At the end of the day, unleaded 88 isn't just another number on the pump. It's a chemical choice that your engine might not be equipped to make. The government and the gas stations are counting on you to choose the cheaper price, but as any mechanic will tell you, the cheapest fuel often leads to the most expensive repairs. Check your owner's manual, look for the yellow label, and keep your fuel system dry. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to stay ahead of the curve on the American automotive market, hit that subscribe button for Torque Hub. We're here to make sure you're the smartest buyer at the pump and the one with the truck that actually starts on Monday morning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.